So I haven't done a blog post in ages, and it's because I've been in the process of planning a wedding, moving house, getting a puppy, and starting my MA. So it's just been absolutely insane over the last couple of months, which is why I'm trying to do a video blog, because I'm hoping it's going to be quicker and easier than typing, especially for me because I'm absolutely rubbish with the typing. And I'm trying really, really hard not to say and like. So far, I think I've only done it twice, so it's good. So my MA in documentary photography has been a really, really cool experience so far. I'm doing the Falmouth Flexible Learning course, which is basically distance learning. So we go online once a week and we talk, we have a topic, we watch a presentation, we have a few discussions, there's a few online forums, and then sometimes we're set a micro project or a little task, and then we need to sort of we need to fit it into our own practice and look at how it relates to our own work. So that was pretty interesting, and we're just coming to the end of that now. I think it's week 12. Some of the blog posts are on the other part of the website, the CRJ, so it's chrischucas.com/CRJ, and that's their critical research journal with all the bits and pieces in. So for my own project so far, I've gone on tour with a band called Larkhill, and they were great fun to hang out with, and I'm kind of documenting the experience, and I'm looking at, well, within my practice especially, I'm trying to look at the relationship between the photographer and the subject. It sounds really formal and sort of artsy or weird, but it's kind of interesting because today you get a professional looking camera out like a DSLR and people act differently around you, sometimes in a good way, in a positive way, and sometimes in a negative way, and I think it's really interesting. I've been doing a lot of event work for events and nightclub stuff. I do occasionally work doing that kind of stuff, and when I get a camera out, people act differently and they kind of want to have their picture taken, whereas before that might have been a bit weird, maybe 10 years ago. I went out with my friend Dave actually, and there's a blog post on the CRJ page I went out with my friend Dave and literally just took pictures of him in different places, and took pictures of him at a club, and he had so many people coming up to him asking to have their picture taken with him. They were basically just forcing themselves into the frame, and the pictures are really interesting. You look at these pictures, they're complete strangers, but they look like the two people in the picture know each other really well, and I just think that's really interesting. It's something I want to explore and look into. Again, with the I'm just about to hand in my project proposal, which is outlining what I intend to do with the project. I've called it as a working title, Habits and Mindsets, which is looking at the people within the punk rock music scene, but also sort of playing with the idea of the image maker and subject and audience, which brings me to my final point of this nonsensical ramble. So the question of audience has popped up, and it's pretty interesting. I don't think I looked into exactly who my audience or the project's audience is that in depth until it popped up with the lecturers, and why is this work being made? So I broke it down, I thought about it quite a bit, and I know the audience is myself, people that are part of the punk rock music scene, and fans and promoters, bands, anyone that's kind of involved. And it's also open to other music fans and, I don't know, people interested in art and culture, like art fans, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, selfishly, it's for myself. Like, it's just something I wanted to do, and I felt like I needed to do, and I did, and I didn't know that it would turn into what it is now when I started doing, covering shows and taking portraits of people in the scene and stuff over 3 years ago. So I guess, like, selfishly, it's for myself. It's just like a personal thing, a personal goal I wanted to do, just to, realize a project and finish it. And then I guess it's for other people afterwards. And I don't know, is that a good enough reason to shoot a project. You know, it's not commercially viable to do something for yourself mainly and then for other people afterwards. I don't know, but I'm thinking the end outcome for the project at the moment would be a book and an accompanying exhibition, because I thought if I could make a photo book cheap and accessible, then people that would like to own a piece of the project, or, you know, like a physical object, and look through stuff and like own a piece of it, then it's kind of more accessible and stuff for them. So I'm really interested in anyone that I've worked with so far to sort of get in touch and let me know, like, what do you think about a photo book idea? Do you think that's suitable? Do you think that's something that people would be interested in owning? Would you be interested in, you know, owning a photo book, or do you think it's a bad idea? Do you think it's not the best way to reach people and share the work? Again, thanks for listening to me ramble. I'm trying my hardest to be better at this, and I'm rubbish at writing blogs with my dyslexia and time being an issue, so hopefully I'll get better at these. Like, follow and subscribe and all that jazz, and yeah, let me know. Really, really interested in what people think about the outcome for this punk rock documentary project. Is a photo book something that you guys would be interested in seeing or owning? See you later.